Hello and welcome back to About the Showdown. We are ready for the last game today. It's been a lot of work and a lot of fun. But Trey and I, Gonzo, are gonna be kind of carrying on for the Division 1 game, and we got BenC versus Krullzor with relatively unsurprising choices from both of them, wise, I think.
Yeah. I mean, we have both seen on their respective decks for at least 1 or 2 games now. Both are, yeah, they're very very keen on their particular decks.
Yeah, I think Ben has only deviated from NL twice and kind of paid for it. And Krullzor's very, very big on this deck, which will be your area of expertise, I guess, more than NL, probably.
Yeah, I know Krullzor puts a lot of effort into his Black Purple Luffy. So I'm actually interested in seeing if he has maybe found some other tech or some other like interesting cards that could like enhance the deck in any way.
Yeah, I do think he's been like tweaking the ratios so much. And if we're taking a bit of a look at the deck list, we're actually seeing some old favorites coming back, and 5-cost Black Sanji is coming in, but also there's a very, very fun 3-cost coming in to solve some of the deck's
Yeah,
consistency,
yeah.
I guess. More than consistency problem, counter consistency problem, I suppose.
So yeah, I
Go
think
on.
it's very interesting that he's playing that card because I thought about it too, but I never had a problem with any consistency in this deck. I think this deck is hyper consistent and like super like it never breaks basically because you have so much power with the giant, the searchability of giant, and the 0 cost event, right?
Yeah.
Um, Also being a 7k leader helps out because you don't have to take like a bunch of like poke swings from leaders. So I'm not sure if I agree playing this card, but of course he's gonna have his reasoning, and maybe we'll see it even in this matchup because it could be, yeah, it could be nice because I wouldn't say it fixes your curve, but it kind of like gives you another option for the certain Don turn. If we see it, we'll point it out. I'm pretty sure you all will see anyways which card we mean if it gets played. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting seeing how he utilizes it.
Yeah, I do think it can help. And once we see it played or searched, we will just be a bit less cryptic about it and talk a bit more openly. But I see what you mean. Specifically against decks that cannot deny your giant capabilities, it does feel like it's almost impossible to quite fully break. But you could get punished early, I guess, for aggressive decks. So maybe that's the spot where you want some help. Um,
Yeah, okay,
yeah,
fair enough.
back to the game. We are seeing, yeah, turn to ramp. Kind of what you want to see. A bit sad not seeing a searcher on one, I suppose. But if you don't need it, you don't need it.
Yeah, if it's like, I mean, this is totally fine. Black Purple basically always wants to take his first 2 life, maybe even 3, because as soon as we go to 7, it's super hard to get more cards in hand. If we don't have any searches or like cards to draw from, like maybe a Nami or Queen or whatever, right? So we usually take all the aggressive first lives. We have the probably perfect curve in this. Um, and we see that the number on 3 Don, the how's it called, the ramper, right, to go to 6 the next and then play our Luffy to just set it up for the coming turns.
We are going 2 5s into NL after this post setup, I guess. And we're seeing one of the blockers actually go away, which is fun. Ben is trying to keep himself at 2 life, I suppose. His list, like, within the boundaries of what NL can be. It's kind of an interesting take, right? It's been a minute. We haven't really seen those Kikuno just make a proper return, and we're also on a full playset of Sanji. Sorry, Sanji, Frankie. Which is a cool 2K choice. Everything else is a bit more standard, I guess, nowadays. Although we do see some Yellow Kid played side by side with the 8-cost categories.
Yeah. I think he counters out of the 5 because he's kind of scared of the SEC rush Luffy next turn. Because if he takes the 5 here, right, he's on 1 life. Of course, he has 1 blocker and 1 more K counter in hand. But if the 6K rush Luffy comes down next turn, there's going to be a barrage of 7K swings next turn. And if you're on 1 life, this could hurt a lot, right, in your hand size. And especially because you can't heal the turn after, the Luffy's going to stick on the board and like keep swinging at you the turn after. So yeah, counting off the 5 here is totally reasonable, totally fine. But next turn we will still see a bunch of swings, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, we are taking that 5. I guess we're going down to 1 now.
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
taking the 7 too. That's what I was talking about. Like as soon as we go to 7, we don't care anyways, right? Okay, we get rid of the Robin, so we kind of okay, interesting. I don't know if I would have used a Nami for that. Are we that scared of another swing? Oh, it's very interesting.
And that is hand size, it seems to be 6 in hand now. Maybe somewhat playing around blocker low as well, which would be problematic for an L.
Yeah, maybe I suppose it could be. You're right. Maybe that was the idea behind this play, establishing another body, even though it can't really swing. But yeah, if we have the Luffy, it's still gonna be a bunch of swings. Yeah, and we don't really have to be worried about any potential threats. Maybe except the 8-cost category, because we know that Ben likes playing those, right?
Yeah, that could be a bit trouble. Okay, we're seeing Zoro.
It looks like we're trying to build our board here, right? Instead of swinging huge, we're just trying to go. It's a bit. Yeah, I mean, we need to play something to actually use the ability of the 7 cost, the 6 cost. Oh,
And
okay,
that's a
we're swinging to
2-cost
board.
card,
Interesting.
right? Ooh.
It's very interesting. Yeah, it's basically 2 cost. The Zoro's basically 2 cost because you get just 1 Don back. It's actually really nice. If you have a bunch of them in hand, you can build board really quickly. Ooh, okay. Get rid of the Nami as well. Interesting.
I mean, this is a good spot for PP, right? We do have a significant board.
I don't
And
know.
then it's just about to hit 8, which could be somewhat trouble.
Yeah, I don't think that's the spot you want to be in, honestly. I don't think that is a good spot for Black Purple. I think you rather would have played a rush card, swung a bunch of attacks at life, leave the Kikonojo. I'm just more of a fan of this like more aggressive playstyle of the deck. But I mean that's exactly what happens now. The Inner is on 2 life, right? He has no bodies on board, that's true. But he doesn't really care about the bodies anyways, right? We just play a cutter, heal the 6-cost Luffy, therefore, like keep the biggest threat off the board, and then just proceed with our usual game plan, right? Drop big bodies and survive as long as possible.
And another beer Luffy is not as relevant anymore because you do have a body that swings over it. Obviously, 2 extra K for free every turn is good, but no longer the best.
Yeah, I totally agree. Okay, this is a nice play. I like this. I like instead of playing another beer Luffy here, putting a bit more pressure and getting rid of the blocker. I like that. I think
Without
that's a
the
good
extra
play.
life. Yeah, that goes 5 into that blocker.
Yeah, Shiroshi's such an annoying card. Okay, put it on leader. Never forget that if you play Black Purple, always put it on leader first. Very good habit to do. Instead of just swinging and putting Don then, just put 1 Don. You'll always use it on leader anyway, so just put it there. It's
Yeah.
never gonna be bad.
Oh, that's 7. That's gonna be demanding. Ooh.
Yeah, no, we take both. Oh wow. We have a 0 cost, but I think it didn't matter too much, right? Because Inner just, I mean, he doesn't care if he goes to 0 life here, right?
Yeah, it shouldn't care that much, although unless you, yeah, I guess both NL and Ace would be like really good plays on 0 life there. So now we just pass without swinging that Sanji.
Yeah, I like the play of just passing here because 2 life is probably worse than being on 0 life or 1 life because you can't really heal yourself, but it makes your aggressive plays a bit more potent, right? You can like swing into board better, you can maybe play the 8-cost kit to get rid of one of the lives better, and so on and so forth.
Hmm. Are we going 5 at that Sorrow or at Life?
I would say he's swinging at life because he likes playing aggressive, if I remember correctly. And if
Mhm.
that gets taken, we just play kit. Okay, so it was Zoro. Fair enough.
Yeah. I
Because I
guess
was,
you
yeah,
go on.
I was thinking maybe if we swing 5 at life, we take it, or we have to counter it. Basically, is a necessity to counter this. But I mean, I also agree with him just swinging board. Obviously, that's a default choice for Elo. Just getting rid of the board, playing big bodies, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, now is where we start gianting and getting the consistency going on. I think you okay.
That
Someone's
says
not
a lot.
bricked.
Says a lot about our hand. That says a lot about our hand. So maybe the problem wasn't that he didn't have, like, maybe that he didn't want to play them, but maybe he just didn't have the good plays for the last couple of turns, and he just tried to make do with what he had. Um, it looks like he has a bunch of counter in hand, to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a 4 cost
11
12. He
and
drops.
12.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that's getting played anytime soon, but 5 cards in hand is a lot for an L.
Um, The clapback could be really, really strong here, especially if he has Gamma Knife in hand. We know he's playing 2 of them, right? So just Gamma Knifing the inner or the cutter. Like the cutter is going to go for sure if he gets Gamma Knife, but if we swing at the inner, we can either ask for a bunch of resources or we just get rid of it altogether.
Yeah. I think I like just like requesting resources of that NL, and then you get to decide whether you can even swing at the kata as well and just like punish hand and get
Yeah,
NL down to nothing.
yeah, makes sense. Looks like he's exactly doing that. He's looking for a Gamma Knife for the search. Yep, and there he found it.
And finding it. Yep. Okay.
So yeah, I feel like we use the Gamma Knife on Enel. Um, put it down to what? 6?
Mhm.
And then swing into it like with an 8k or something. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And then kind of try to get rid of it. And then we can still use like the rest of the Don to get rid of the Katakuri somehow.
I think 6 is good now because it's enough to almost definitely get rid of a card, right? But if you do have a beer Luffy to follow up, you get to then punish a lot into hand.
Yeah, fair enough. So if he does have one, he can either still swing into the cutter. Yeah, no, and then he's still probably be able to swing into the Katakuri. So
Yeah, that goes
yeah, in
away.
it goes. Good.
And now beer Luffy and swing 8. Oh
Oh,
no, Rush Luffy.
well, I like this too because we could. Hmm, we have a lot of pressure for next turn now on board, right? We can't really die anyways.
Hmm.
And so we basically say, okay, if you play another big body and start healing yourself, we put like all our Dawn on Luffy, right?
Hmm.
And can clear them anyways next turn. And if you don't do it, like if you don't clear board and you swing into life, we might be able to kill you next turn.
Yeah. Yeah, that
So yeah,
makes
I like the play of just slamming it. We're not really in any danger anyways.
hmm, makes total sense. I don't think there's like we're kind of alright too with not putting Don or leader this turn either. I was kind of considering whether I prefer the 6 with leader or 8 with Sanji over here. At the kata. Sorry, kata at the reduced NL. It's kind of interesting. Do we have another tenor, and is that the right play? It doesn't really seem like we have an automated play to be making right now. Ace and heal and stay standing is not terrible. Maybe even taking that life if we want to. If we have a category taking that life I really like. Doesn't seem like we have a chunky boy.
Yeah, no, it doesn't look like it. What could we play for 3? Maybe Brûlé? Maybe Shiro should leave one open. That could happen.
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah, we're just probably getting rid of the whole board, I suppose. Are we gonna counter this out? Probably not. As a 9 is a 6, we need 2 2Ks. Oh, okay,
Probably
we do.
yes.
So we were like stacked on counter. That's crazy. Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough then. So we're trying to protect our board as good as possible. Okay, and he still
Oh,
gets rid of it with the Zeus. I like it. Well,
that's the
that's risky
reason.
though.
Okay, that being the
That's risky.
case, I think I definitely would have liked a bit more just swinging 6 with leader and 7 with Sanji over just 8 with Sanji.
But yeah, for sure.
And if we needed
For
to,
sure.
and that's actually counter, you can even rush Luffy into it.
So what's our deal now, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have
Oh.
to pressure life. Are we gonna? Yeah, we have to go for game, right? I mean,
Uh,
we don't have to, I suppose.
we don't really have to, but it is definitely positive. We passed the 50 viewer mark, so thank you so much for that, and we'll carry on with commentary because this is a very interesting spot Krullzor's found himself into. I'd really pay to see the 3 cards he has in hand right now. Like I would definitely sub to the channel just to find out. But we need to connect thrice, and that one done is kind of hinting at
It looks like we play,
Red
yeah.
Hawk. Yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely Red Hawk in hand. Like he plays 4 of them, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Um. So yeah, but is our swing going into life or into board? It feels like it's going into board because it's 10, right? 10
Mm-hmm.
on 8 makes sense.
Yeah.
Of course, asking for the event or like a 2K, 1K. But we still have a second 10K swing, so we're getting rid of at least 3 cards in hand. And then maybe even the body if we have another big swing from leader. Okay, no, we just let it go. Interesting. Okay. Well, I don't hate going like what, like 5 with law or something. Just pressing, just like get 1 or 2 cards out of hand, right? Just a little bit. You know what I mean? I think that
Yeah.
is, yeah. I feel like that is a valid
Nice.
strategy, and he gets a card. Yeah, fair enough.
Mhm. We have
Hmm.
6 left.
Well, we're no danger to die, right? If we just play another like 6 cost, some 6 cost, any 6 cost, even a 5 cost, is probably good enough. If we put it down on leader. Oh, and then we see the card we were talking about. Very
That's
interesting.
it. Wire. Timing is a bit unfortunate. I'm assuming that's the first life that we had in place. But it's also important to represent those on for lethal, so.
So you want to fill us in what Via does?
Okay, so Wire is basically a blocker, and once per turn when you return um, one Dawn, any amount of Dawn, basically, when a Dawn card is returned to your Dawn deck, you get to draw a card and then trash one from your hand. So it basically lets you cycle and filter through.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And what I was thinking about earlier is I feel like, yeah, of course, it makes sense to like cycle through your deck. Very interesting, very it's but I feel like you do that enough already with the deck, right? You have the giants, you have all these searches. But still, it's probably still a good play, but you never really do it on 3 done, I feel like. You never really want to play it on 3 because you're trying to ramp on 3, right?
yeah. I do feel like it's kind of for the awkward turns. Maybe after the first 6 course, when you don't have a follow up, that's when it can shine a bit and let you find more gas. It kind of covers the spot that Robin covers, right? Like some PB lists are just running Robin, and I feel like the Dawn minus there can act against you mid game, while over here the ability is what can add to your benefit mid game. Like imagine you don't have a second 6K after your Luffy, right? So you play this, you swing with Luffy, recover one of the 3 Dawn you spend, draw one, trash one, and kind of get a bit farther into your deck while carrying on with life, I suppose. and that means you have.
And it's gone.
Yep. Yeah, no value.
Interesting thing, someone in chat pointed out though, you can use it on your opponent's turn too, right? You can use the wire on your opponent's turn. If you, for example, want to play Giant, you minus the Don, and then the effect triggers. So you basically draw the cards for Giant, so you get the cards back for Giant, and then you can like cycle a card with a wire, which is actually also really interesting because you can just like filter out your hand better if you get another brick or something, right? Get one card deeper if you need to.
Yeah, it's very, very good in
Actually, I
that
like that.
sense.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
like that. This interaction I like. I really enjoy that. That's cool.
Yeah. Chat is saying that it also works when your opponent returns
Wait,
turn,
wait,
but at
opponent
least
return?
at least in English, as it's written, we might need to check the fuck. It's only when you're done a return. So
Yeah, I suppose that is true. Yeah,
okay, we're seeing some 7 swings again.
I gotta double check this now.
Ooh, base trigger.
This is interesting because it does read like if it's your opponent's done.
Mhm.
But I'm really not sure if it's actually does that because it would be a new like it would be a very interesting interaction.
What do you mean it says it does read like that? Can you read it
Um,
out loud?
oh, I just closed it again. That's crazy.
Mhm.
So it basically says if a Don is returned to the deck once per turn. It doesn't say your Don and it doesn't say your turn. So it basically says whenever a Don is returned to the
Okay,
deck.
well,
Oh no, it's
where I'm reading it is when a Dawn card on your field is
mhm.
returned,
Then
a
it's
draw one
just
and
a
trash one.
translation mistake. Okay,
Yeah,
fair enough. Yeah, yeah,
I think
totally
so.
fair. Yeah, because then it's probably just a translation error on that end here, what I'm reading.
Mhm.
Because then it would be kind of crazy. Okay, we packed it up. I
Missed out
didn't.
lethal. Yeah,
That is crazy. Yeah. So we went for lethal as black purple, right? And we didn't have it.
I believe so. We might have like gotten way too mixed into this card.
That's crazy.
Uh, yeah, we suck. We apologize for not being great at our jobs at the most important moment, and
No,
I know
no,
our
you can't
players.
say that. You have to do it professionally and say, yeah, no, the players they should have done it a bit more obvious. But it's fine. Next game we cut them some slack right now. They're still just players. Next time maybe give us a heads up that they're going for lethal then. So we can see it actually. You can't take the blame on yourself. Come on, brother.
Ooh, I know who's here, Monabi. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for coming and watching. I know he might be interested in some commentary gigs in the future, so we might get some Monavi trial tapes. Maybe we can do some auditions for additional commentators that are not currently on the league. But yeah, welcome to the chat. Thanks for joining.
For some anal gaming. Yahoo!
Yeah, yeah. I don't think I've ever seen anyone play more NL than this guy on chat right now, and that includes Ben. Like, it's his passion. Um, yeah, I think pretty much everyone in the London local community has a story about how Mo outrageously uh,
Oh
trigger
no.
them to death.
That's true.
As yeah, so we do have some expertise on chat about it. But yeah, you were right. In spite of us getting way too distracted with card details because we're too passionate about the game, we did miss out, but the lethal failed. And that was enough to get Krullzor out. I guess there's not really a way to get out of that 15 swing, so sad times.
Yeah, all right. Anil chooses to go second in this matchup now, right? Very interesting. Because
No,
I would.
Purple Black picked.
Oh no, yeah, my bad, my bad, my bad. Take it back, take it back. I'm not agreeing. Oh, shit, it's too late. It's so warm. Please cut me some slack.
Yeah,
Um,
no, that's true.
yeah, no, that would have made no sense because I was just thinking like he goes second because obviously purple black wants to go first, right? It's his curve, and on top of that, I've seen Enel take first like multiple times, even though his curve is more so second oriented.
Yeah, no, I think on this specific matchup, there's no question about it. You just want to take those 6 costs away as soon as you can.
Fair enough, yeah.
Speaking of which, we just saw one found with Trafalgar Law, and we do have Rush Luffy in the equation.
Nice. It's a very important card in this matchup. It's one of the key cards to get through these last few lives in its repertoire, right? Okay, oh, we get rid of some like early aggression with Zeus. I saw him do that a lot. I saw Ben do that a lot. Just be very upfront with his life, take the life as soon as possible. If he can get rid of some bodies, he does it like every single time in the early turns. I like that. I think that's a very, very fair play to do.
Okay, easy peasy. And 6.
6, yep.
Yeah, no
Everything's
questions asked.
scripted. And so now you said he searched the rush Luffy before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect for next turn would be just a rush Luffy attack into a beer Luffy attack, and then just put tons of pressure on this inner, right?
Yeah, I think basically you're representing like 3 sevens and an 8 if you need to.
Yeah. But we have to take a life, right? And Inner is already preparing himself, right? He leaves a Don open for 3k to only need one card to get rid of one of those 7ks. Then has a blocker on board, which is basically another life for one of those 7ks. So he is properly protecting himself from these rushes.
Rush. Yep. And we don't have Chopper to to do any shenanigans with that extra Dawn either, so you know.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I don't think you want to be using Rush Luffy's ability at this point. It's too taxing on your Dawn amount coming into the next ones.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think if you want to use one of those abilities, it's probably the Beer Luffy.
Mm-hmm.
Whichever, I'm not sure. Maybe it's not. Maybe you actually want to use the Rush Luffy and not the Beer Luffy's ability. Because do you really actually care if we go to 7? There's no body on board for Inner, right? Okay, he does it this way. But let's keep this thought in mind. If he's not using this Luffy's ability, right?
Yeah.
He's not going to 7. But he takes a life with the other one. Oh, he's just using both.
He's
Okay,
using
never
it.
mind.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right. Just putting as much pressure as possible. Mm. Because I could have seen him stay on a bit more Don, right? But only taking his life because he's in no way like in anywhere close to dying. So why not just just take the life, not use the beer Luffy. I mean, we have a bit more pressure this way, I suppose, because our leader is 7k now as well. So I guess it's fair.
Yeah, I think that does make quite a bit of sense, and now we're taxing 2 cards away from Enal's hand, which is still somewhat healthy. Seems like 5 cards in hand right now, maybe 6. It's always a bit
Yeah,
trickier with oversleeves.
he's really healthy. No, he does. It does feel like he's really healthy still. Oh, we get a second SEC Luffy, so this is huge because Ina is probably trying to get rid of the SEC Luffy, right? With the what's called category. And if we have a second one, we're just gonna go in. We're just gonna go in again, right? We're just gonna take our life, swing away with like 3 or 4 7ks again.
Yeah.
And it's probably exactly what's happening. Yeah, no, that looks proper.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's not an ideal spot to be on. You're kind of relying on triggers. It's just going to feel like a deja vu. We do have an 8k ready this time around, but we will also be able to keep a Dawn up for Gapon Giant if we need to.
Yes, agreed. So we're gonna see 4 more 7k swings. We don't have it done up, so we can't really get easily out of one of them. And we pitched 2 2ks last round, so maybe that shows us that we don't have that much count on hand, right? Otherwise, we probably would have thrown a 2k and a 1k.
Yeah, either we have all
Ooh, oh yeah.
2ks and
Just
the... Go on, go on.
sorry, so I just got to like. This is interesting that he swings the B Luffy first because I don't know if I agree with this. Why not swing the SEC Luffy? Because now you lose 2 swings in total, right?
Mm-hmm. So I was gonna actually bring this up, but the game is going way too quickly. But
Yeah.
it basically comes down to whether you want your leader to be 7k or not. Like how much you value that.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. I
Right.
suppose if you don't have too much count on hand, Oh,
we could
maybe.
die. If we
Yeah,
do
we
the
could die.
secret, we take a life, and that category is there, like just an even split on a 5k leader, you might just die on the spot. So I think it's more arguable than normally to swing that 7 first.
So that makes sense. But why didn't we do that on the second time? Like, okay, first time I totally agree with you, but why didn't we just do it on the second time, right? He now didn't do it as well. Like, he just swung with leader, and there could have been a badge in life, right? And then the 7k attack, like the double 7k attack, would have been completely gone. Okay, 2k,
2k, 2k.
1k. Oh, 2Ks.
Yeah,
Okay,
Frankie
and
and Beige again.
now we're in anal territory. Ay, ay, ay.
Mm-hmm.
So now the swings at bodies come in, and now the big bodies come in as well. Let's see how many triggers Ben can pull out of his sleeve. Because we're definitely gonna get rid of the rush Luffy, right? We're definitely gonna swing with Kata into the rush Luffy, and then if we have Enel, we could try to swing with Enel into rush Luffy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he plays Ace actually, does he?
Yeah, but Krullzor has like 14 cards in hand as well.
He does. Yeah, you're right.
I
Yeah.
mm, he cannot even decide which one of the 14 he's gonna give for counter, I don't think. But yeah, this is looking kind of complicated to get out of, bar some miracles from the triggers.
So is there maybe a reasoning to not swing into the SEC Luffy? Right,
Oh,
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe there's a reasoning not to swing into SEC Luffy. Because if he wants to protect it, he's gonna let it, like, he's gonna protect it, right? What if he just play a big body and go for game? Not go for game, but like, right, swing at life to go for game next turn.
this might be the case of like going 15 at life.
That could also be possible because he says like, okay, yeah, I know you have the SEC Luffy, I know, but if he knows that the SEC Luffy can be protected, then he knows that life
Yeah,
is also be able to protect it.
baited.
So let's see. We have 6, 7, 8, 9k counter. So that is 16, and that's
Yep,
enough.
and
So
that's game.
Black
Yep,
Purple takes the second.
we did have the NL though.
He did
I
have it, and I think he was thinking about it, and now in the end, obviously, he could have thought about it, but like, it could also be just bait, right? It could, of course,
Mhm.
it can always be bait. Just like have a bunch of cards, and like I know it better than anyone else. You can have like a bunch of bricks in your hand. Like, yeah,
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 no, it
but that was
was 100% that was the case, right? We were like Krullzor just played to that out. He knew he could survive the 15, so just took that life, and that's the end of the game.
so practiced perfectly, and how mentioned like mentioned in chat, this was basically perfect PB game plan, right? We have the search, we have the 3k to ramp to 6, then we have the SEC Luffy into SEC Luffy with just immense aggression, with like 4 7k swings each turn. So hard for a 5k leader to get out of, right? Like 6k leader is a different story, but a 5k leader is so hard to get out of.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's pretty much all but impossible. I'm just trying to think a bit of could have we survived with that NL swing? Like assuming we just go at either board or hand, like regardless, we just chip at hand with that NL. We get one life, which means we need to connect thrice, and we have a lot of swingers, really, including an extra sick Luffy if we needed to. Yeah, no,
Probably no way.
I don't think so because you do have two of those six, right? So like you're gonna swing at the very least 5 times in these spots,
Yeah.
and now you actually get to do it through um like swinging first with the first sec before even playing the second one, right? And then just playing the second one and doing the beer Luffy ability, and yeah, even beige shenanigans would not really get you out of it, I don't believe.
No, yeah, I agree with you. All right. Um, well, this is a turn of events now, though. Enel lost and still went second. So
Mm-hmm.
now it comes true what I said last time. He still went second because I think he likes the curve better, I suppose, right?
There is
Maybe
at
he doesn't
least
mind.
6, 8 costs, right? And 8, 10
Yeah,
costs. So I feel like it's just valuing that higher than
probably.
the aggression. But the aggression seems to have been working kind of nicely, at least so
Yeah.
far.
I mean, he does have a ramp every single time on
Hmm
3. That also helps a lot, especially a proper ramper, not just a Black Maria. And he does have the BLOF every single time. So maybe we'll just see a repeat of last game.
I wonder if this deck is consistent enough, man. It does feel like you have enough of everything pretty much every time.
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan of consistency, right? I love playing like even more searchers than possible. I think my black purple list had even like 4 more searchers than the normal one.
Hmm.
But yeah, this kind of consistency is just I think black purple is one of the most consistent decks in the format for sure. Of course taking away like I mean all the Luffy decks have like really high consistency because there's so many good searchers for each of them, right? Take away like blue purple obviously because his lead ability does that for him. Um, Green Purple has a bunch of consistency pieces, like a bunch of searches. Black Purple has the same amount of searches, same amount of like same cards as searches. Um, so it's just a good archetype for consistency. This like straw hat archetype.
Hmm Yeah, there's definitely critical mass of cyclers and searchers for Luffy right now. Specifically in the purple color, right? You don't even need to
Mhm.
move away from it too much. Uh, uh, that's a lot of heavy lifting.
Exactly, and Jack says it, and that's what I was thinking already. Like we get another searcher, another top 5 searcher with a trigger in PRB,
Oh,
searching straw hats.
yeah,
It's
two
gonna be
costs, right?
very interesting. It's a 2 cost, yeah, I give you that, but still, it's still an incredibly good searcher. It has a 1K anyway, like as well, so
Hmm
it's not even a break.
No, did it have color restrictions, or is it just any straw hats?
I think it doesn't, but I'm not too familiar with the card yet.
Yeah, because it doesn't exist quite yet, right? So we are allowed to wait a bit.
We're looking like 6 months into the future. Now I have already deck lists prepared for that. No, no, of course not. But like, yeah. Oh, okay. Back to the game. Maybe we see a basically exact one-on-one repeat of the first game of the series. Or the second game of the series, right? We have a We have a 6 cost Beer Luffy into a 6 cost Rush Luffy. We have the Zeus on the inner side, right? Getting rid of the 6 cost, the 3 cost. And now we're just doing all the shenanigans again. We're just rushing, attacking a bunch of 7s, see how Inel can react to that. I think if he does have a Katakuri, he's a bit less healthy. He only has like 3 cards in hand, if I'm correct. And he doesn't have a Don open. So it looks a bit rougher or like more rough for Ine. Especially if he doesn't have the Katakuri here, right? Like if there's a second SEC Luffy, of course Katakuri is fine. But okay, he does have the Katakuri to get rid of the SEC Luffy. But if there's a second SEC Luffy, I don't think that does a lot because then the game is probably just over at like the next turn.
Yeah, if we do see the same deja vu as last time, this is kind of it.
And that's the power of a 7K leader, right? Like the Kikonojo couldn't even poke. Usually it's the same as with the. Okay, we're trying to search for it. Totally fair. Um, Usually the 6K swings can put a lot of pressure on our leader. Be really really annoying because we always have to give them 2K counters. Each of these swings is another card from hand. But with a 7K leader, we totally negate this ability to poke us throughout the whole game.
Yeah, and NL really wants to be like spending all of their Dawn past the 8 on turn, right? So like we definitely cannot afford to be on this spot. I see 4 cards in Ben's
Yeah,
hands.
still takes well.
Mm,
So yeah, Inlet's probably like one of the pristine matchups to face if you want to do this kind of thing where you have your leader buffed. I mean, Inlet should be like struggling into all the 6K leaders as well, right?
yeah, it's definitely a bit rough. Not as rough, I guess, because at least Kiku lets you poke slightly, but I don't think it's where you want to be. Those low purple decks are really, really tough, and you don't have the ability to switch into gear as quickly are some of the more aggressive decks. Like Kikunojo is probably helping specifically for those matchups, but yeah, I'm not sure it's enough pressure. Like blue purple just eats away at you in the late game, and they don't really have a need to even get you down from 3 life ever. So, hmm.
Yeah, okay. Instead of rushing a bunch, we're just building boards here, and I feel like that is also totally viable strategy here. Just having a bunch of strings for next turn because it only has 3 cards in hand. Of course, he can heal himself. But even then, we still have another Beer Luffy, another bigger body, quote unquote, with a Zoro to be able to swing with, and then
Yeah,
maybe find something from life. But
yeah.
we'll see.
And if we need to swing into that Beer Luffy, it's kind of like still somewhat okay. Like if you get a 10 cost and swings into that, you can go for board. There's 2 cards in hand. If it's an L, there's 1 card in hand, so you can swing at both of those parties. There's not a 10 cost. And yeah, Krullzor is just in chat right now, so welcome to chat. Lovely to have you as usual. And he's second guessing his decision to swing with the Beer Luffy on the spot.
We got a 2K, or at least we got like 2 counter out of hand. So I would need a bit more reasoning behind this because it feels like a really good trade-off if we let the card go, and have gotten like so many cards out of our opponent's hand. I feel like this was still a really good trade-off, right? Of course, it can get poked at this point, but if we can defend it, right, it's still
I
okay. And
think,
now I see what he
yeah,
means. Okay, I think I see what he means because he says like, okay, if he didn't attack, then he doesn't have to spend all these cards on protecting it, and then he
and
maybe plays another turn. Yeah,
he could have attacked with leader as well, right?
exactly.
And just like get the same result, or at least probably the same result, because like an L could take that life and then give you 2 cards, but it's a bit riskier, I guess. It's a bit
So,
tricky.
yeah, our cards is now cards in hand are probably now a little bit lower. But we still have a big board and some more life. So if we have something to play, should be fine. Maybe utilize these Trafalgar Laws on board, and I think that's exactly what he's trying to do here. Just swing a bunch of like 5, 6s maybe. Feels like the correct choice here.
Yeah, that does track.
And that is only possible because he got these counter out of the opponent's hand. So I feel like it's still like a total fine. Like it was totally fine for him to do this kind of thing, what he did, right? He just swings another 2 5s with the laws, right? If he swings 5, it gets taken. We can go another 5. We get the card, or we get a counter, and then we can go like 7-7 in the perfect world. But if he does counter out of one of the 5s, we just clear the Karakuri and live another turn, right? And then can still put him to 0 life. So I feel like I feel like it was totally the fair choice to swing there. And diminishes hand size.
Yeah, this is also like a somewhat likely lethal scenario, right? Like I just don't think it's worth the likeliness that
Yeah.
much. So
So what if we just swing 5 here? We need the Don anyways on something, or we need them rested or whatever, right? So if we just swing 5, we always get the life here, right? Because there's never gonna be card game pitched for 5k. I mean, of course, maybe, yeah, but then we just clear board and we're fine anyways. Yeah, and we
yeah,
start exactly with that. So we do swing a 5.
and then we make
Uh,
decisions.
And in it looks like he has another counter. Yeah, he does have another 2k in hand. And I would say just as another 5 at this point could be risky, but could also be totally fine, right?
I okay, we do have a blocker there, which is nice. Now we get to go 8 into category.
Why would
Return
we? Oh,
to
we're going to what? Okay, yeah,
yeah. We're just gonna clear that board, I think.
but not
We
Kiku, I hope.
no, I'm not completely against that either.
Could be fine, I suppose. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if I like it, but I guess it's fine. I would have to think more about this if I like this or if I agree with this. And then he has 4 more Dawn to use. What's he gonna do with that? Yeah, he gets. I mean, now it's totally fine. Oh no, wait, he's gonna swing 5 at life. Okay, so he's giving him another card in hand. Put him to 0. Potentially giving him a rush in it, right?
Yeah, but we do have a blocker and Gum Gum Giant don't up, so I'm not too worried. We're also completely out of lethal range, so as long as we can protect that Beer Luffy, we're chilling. And even those laws are kind of trouble.
Yeah, at this point for sure. Maybe we even want to protect them if we have the counter over, right? Okay, probably gonna swing 8 into the Zoro here, right? We're never gonna swing into the other one? Yeah.
No,
Zoro makes more
that's.
sense.
Mhm. And we get rid of a Beer Luffy.
Just the counter you already said about, like the giant. Very good. And then exactly the effect of Wire comes in play because he can now cycle another card. Very interesting. And okay, he does play the 10 cost ace. I wasn't sure. This is probably one of the best cards he could play in this case. Again, only 1 card in hand now, but he gets rid of probably 1 body.
Yeah.
There is a decision to make if we have counter. Oh, okay.
Oh.
Interesting. So looking at this board state now, of course we can clear board, I guess, but isn't it just gonna come back to this every single round now?
That is kind of a fair question. He did draw the ace on this spot, right? And I think there could have been an argument not to take that second life the previous turn, which would have meant we had 1 more body to swing into with the same amount of life if the ace is played, or sorry, either the same situation or they had 1 more life, but we had 1 more body. We're kind of just running the clock now. It's an L is difficult to thread a needle where you guarantee that you have the lethal. And
Yeah.
getting rid of those bodies is kind of where you want to be, I think.
Yeah. Looks like he's trying to get rid of both of them, right? He's gonna 12 into the ace, and then another 10 into the cutter, probably. Yeah, looks like it. And then we just probably pass, right? Or do we get rid of the Zeus as well? Just a 3k? Yeah, I think it's totally fair. No, it's a 2k body.
2
Never
and 2.
mind then. Yeah, of course. Well, that looks decent, I suppose.
Yeah.
Even another healer doesn't really do anything. I think Katakuri would be the best card to get here, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Category to beer would be troublesome. But I'm not sure how much either. I guess we swing 5 into law.
just to make our opponent guess, I like it. If we have another ace, we could just hard play him, right, without rushing.
Yeah. Get alive. We do not have another ace. So we're swinging at the wire.
Just a Frankie. Get some board presence going. I like it. Obviously, we need something on board. I mean,
Liking it is a strong word, I think, for this. But yeah, I respect it.
yeah, it's definitely not the best player. You're right. I would
I mean,
definitely.
it's just the play you have, basically.
Yes.
You do need some semblance of a board presence because otherwise, if you don't have anything here, even if they fail lethal, yeah, what's the situation?
Yeah, I totally agree. It's probably the best you can do in this spot.
And now there's some fun to be had.
We gotta swing at life here, right? We start swinging at life for sure. How many cards is in F1? Yeah, it looks like, right?
Yeah. Since he's
Swinging
on
it.
2 life, you probably start with a 5 rather than a 7 because
Agreed.
you don't really get that punished if they give you counter.
Agreed, yeah. And if we have, maybe we cycled a lot like through these last couple of turns. Maybe we have another 7k Luffy, another rush Luffy. Okay, but we start with a 7k. Maybe we just want to put him to 0 here. We're just
No,
going a bunch of 7s.
it's probably for efficiency with the beer Luffy, right? So we're gonna go another 7, recover the Dawn, another 7 with leader,
That makes
and then
sense. No, I totally agree. That makes sense. And if we get 2 cards out of his hand here, out of Inel's hand here, we still can just like put him to 0.
Hmm.
What's totally fine. Okay, he
Yeah,
does take the life.
I guess the problem I have with taking those 2 cards is that they effectively get to heal for free afterwards, right? Like they give you counter to that, and then if you swing again, they heal without spending a card from hand. So it's kind of annoying, but
Yeah,
it's fair
I
enough.
agree. Okay, but he does go 8 now. It's
Yeah.
not math. It's not mathematical lethal, I suppose,
No, but it's likely
but
lethal.
it's very likely, right? If he goes 8, and he has 2/2Ks, he probably drops them anyways. And if he
Hmm.
doesn't, it's very unlikely that is gonna have 32Ks next turn, right? Of
Yeah.
course, there could always be a Brûlé, a 0 cost event, anything from life, but it doesn't
Hmm.
really punish us that much, I suppose.
No, and there is a chance you have a Rusher Shanji in hand as well, right? So that
Yeah,
could make things a bit more complicated for lethal, or even like a Rusher um, Luffy.
yeah, no, I agree with you, 100%.
Or also Hachi would be a funny way to finish
Oh
the
yeah,
game.
and
Yeah,
he does have the counter, so we can't go for game anymore. We're still putting him to 0.
yeah,
Yeah, it makes more sense. We definitely put Inno to 0 here, right?
I think so.
We have to. And then we just hope there is no 10 cost coming down next turn. And we play out the body, I suppose. Yeah, just build more boards. I feel like that's fine. Let's get another body on board. Yeah.
Oh, so
Maybe even
Hachi.
get 2 more. Yeah, no, that's totally fine. I mean, we don't need them in hand right now. We're so out of game.
Ah, ooh.
Hmm?
Taruso Hachi can rest things, can't it?
It can, but it also can swing. So it's basically the same thing, if it's on board or not.
Oh
It's
no, no,
just
no.
better.
I'm just thinking, like, with that being the body you're
Oh,
playing, is it worth wiping that Frankie instead?
oh
And
no, I
just
don't. No, I don't think so. If we want to heal, this Frank is going to swing for 5, and I don't think we care at all if he swings 5 twice into a Zoro. We're going to
yeah,
go for game next turn anyways.
yeah, that's fair enough.
This law would have died either way, so it doesn't matter. Now we just need to draw something good out of our giant.
Yeah, but
Oh, we don't have giant.
you know,
Okay, now we're just playing all out trigger luck here,
yeah,
right?
there's no life. I think at this point it's just safer to wipe the bodies.
Oh man. I mean, we could just go 6 and 5, I guess. And then I would funnily enough, I would still swing 5 life.
Hmm.
Just because I want to see the cycle.
I guess so.
I mean, maybe not because also Hachi is very easily to get swung into, I suppose.
Yeah.
Probably
But
would
like
not
if
work
we rewind there's one more component over here, right? If we don't swing into life, they have 0 cards in hand, so that NL cannot heal.
there. Mhm.
So like you're negating half of the big bodies that would like heal and force us to have an ace over there. So like if you swing into that Frankie, there's no bodies to be dealt with. You still have the use up, and you get a bit more board protection. While they need to top deck, and they need to top deck specifically ace, not an L.
Yes, he could technically top deck his Katakuri. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah. Oh wait, he's not swinging to board here. Okay, yeah. I mean, I do
maybe.
understand this. Yeah, I do understand it. I mean, obviously, he's trying to give him no opening to get swung into, and if
Hmm.
he's going into life here, he's gonna get his rush Luffy back. It's basically
Hmm.
gaming against the clock here.
Yeah.
This feels like the average inner game. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, this doesn't. I do feel like it's triggering a bit of PTSD on me. It's annoying though because these are the games where you feel like you have NL on the grasp of your hand, right? Like you got them to 0 cards in hand, and it's still clinging on to their life.
You never can really go for game, right? Every swing, every time you get a life from him, you have to be careful that he doesn't like trigger a blocker
Hmm.
or a badge or whatnot, right? Like, it's really
Yeah,
rough.
yeah, yeah. But chat is being very appreciative of Krullzor, as you and I have been pretty much every week. We've got a chance to comment on him, and also I just wanted to like re-congratulate him for going past the 1,000 followers on YouTube barrier fairly recently. It's amazing work, and we're super happy.
Let's
for him.
go.
Yeah. Hopefully, we will be able to join him at some point. If anyone in chat is just following here and hasn't checked our YouTube, you have all of the videos there. I can see the bot just recently spamming it onto chat, so we appreciate any support over there as well. Huh.
And we do see the cutter. Well, man, this is a game.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he's gonna see the 6 cost Luffy soon. Otherwise it's gonna actually go in its way again. If in it, I guess like a few more turns. I would like to see how many big bodies he has in trash.
That is a very, very valid point and question. Are we finding that additional secret? Please tell me we are.
Doesn't look like it. I think it would have been a snap take, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
that's good.
Sanji's good.
That's
Sanji's
good.
good.
I was gonna say that's the second best option.
Yeah. We don't have cards in hand as either, right?
No.
So we can
No.
just swing fives. We start with a 5 on Uzuhachi, 100%, right? And
You
then
just go for lethal.
5 leader, and then we have a lot of like, yeah, no, this is great, right? We swing 5/5. If this is not a badge or 0
Mhm.
cost or Brille, we don't care about the second life. Yeah, because he always has to
Okay,
throw it
we
away.
don't care about that. Now we go another 5, and now we
And
can.
now it's only 0 cost. Basically, can fuck us
Yep.
over.
Yeah, and if we zero course, we get to Sanji into the category, right?
Yep, fair enough. And it is not. And if it's not oh no, it's an 8k swing anyways. So this is no chance. He does have the
Oh my
event. That's
god!
what I was just thinking. I was just thinking about it. It's like the only thing could be an event, but it's an 8 cost swing anyways. Oh my
That
god. Okay.
that was amazing gaming.
Well, that was great. Well done.
Really, really well done. That's
But well done to both people. It's obviously Black Purple won the game there, but
Mhm.
did really well holding on to the game.
Yeah. In spite of seeing like insane curve from Black Purple as well, right? Like it just comes to show the resiliency of the NL strategy when piloted properly, and how insane like those final triggers can really be. Yeah, that's genuinely great gaming. I'm happy for Krullzor. I'm kind of somewhat a bit gutted for Ben because these were like some underdog games going on. Specifically, this last one, it just felt like he was clawing to it, and he was getting closer and closer to the end of the race. So yeah, he managed to get me to basically root for an L a tiny bit. So that's an accomplishment. Okay.
Yeah, but looking at the league table now, maybe
Mm-hmm.
I'm not that far away from actually getting somewhere because Ben now is close to me, far away. Right?
Yeah.
But also Krullzor just gets more up there, maybe even getting to that first place at some point.
Yeah, we do have kind of a not that easy top of the table for Rails anymore, right? Like we genuinely have 3 people on 12 points, just same number of games. So like this week is gonna be kind of really important for everyone. And last week it's just gonna be insane. It's gonna be a lot of gaming going on. We have 3 games left for pretty much everyone on the table, and it's a lot closer than we were anticipating early on, right? Like we did see Herboye run away with the money for the last couple of weeks, but Rene, it's given some credit for punishing the Whitebeard choices, and now we have 3 people gunning for his head.
Yeah, and
Yeah, sorry,
yeah,
gone.
no, that's fine. I think that's it for today, and I think we want to thank you for watching and for supporting and for commenting. I hope you had fun watching the stream.
Mhm.
And yeah, we're gonna send you to one of our other casters now.